Dude, here are 10 weird science facts you've definitely never heard of, but won't be able to forget. Let's do this. Kicking off our list at number 10. Did you know bananas are actually radioactive? Yep, your favorite yellow snack is packing some atomic energy. Okay, calm down. Yes, bananas have potassium, and potassium has different isotopes. One of those isotopes is potassium-40, and it is slightly radioactive. Don't worry though, because you would need to eat about 10 million bananas in one sitting to actually become sick from radiation poisoning. So enjoy your banana with your breakfast cereal, and let's move on. Things are heating up. Number 9. Octopus arms have minds of their own. Okay, now this is kind of scary. If you know anything about octopuses, you probably know that they are super smart, arguably too smart. Well, what you might not know is that each of their arms has a small brain of its own. These small brains allow each of their arms to sense things for themselves and move around on their own accord, almost as if they have a mind of their own. So if an octopus were to lose one of its arms in a fight or something, that arm could just go off on its own and be a little guy living in the world on its own. I think that would be kind of cute. Honestly, if these arms weren't also used to capture prey. It's getting weirder at number 8. Hot water freezes faster than cold water. This one might seem impossible and will probably blow your mind, but trust me, it is a real thing. This phenomenon is actually called the Pamba effect, and scientists have been arguing about it since 1969. The Pamba effect says that under certain conditions, hot water can freeze faster than cold water. Now, obviously, there are conditions where this happens. Just pour some hot water into a glass and put it in your freezer and check back it in like 20 minutes. You'll see what I mean. To date, scientists are still trying to figure out exactly why this happens. But really, the question we should be asking is, how do we use this to our advantage? You won't believe number 7. Plants talk to each other. Okay, they don't actually talk to each other like people do. They don't have a language or anything, but it turns out plants can and do communicate with each other through chemical signals. The reason for this is because plants have to rely on chemical messages to send information throughout their roots or into the air. In fact, researchers at the University of Michigan did a study where they had a bunch of plants and started exposing them to chemicals to see if they would react. What they found was that if a plant was being attacked by insects, that plant would release chemicals to warn nearby plants to beef up their defenses. Essentially, plants have a sort of underground gossip network going on all the time. We are just learning about it now. I want to be a fly on that wall when that gossip is happening. Let's crank it up. Number 6. Your stomach lining gets replaced every few days. Did you know that if your stomach didn't constantly replace its lining, you would digest your own insides? And that is freaking insane. Human stomachs are absolutely insane. Not only does the inside of it look like a gigantic honeycomb, which is already super cool, but it also produces some of the strongest acids on Earth. That's right, the acid in your stomach can break down pretty much any type of material, including metal. So it is a good thing that your body replaces the lining of your stomach every 3 to 4 days. Otherwise, one day you wake up and you're like, where's my stomach? Now it's getting wild. Number 5. There's a jellyfish that can live forever. So in 2008, researchers discovered a species of jellyfish off the coast of Portoferraio in Italy. This jellyfish is now infamous because it is basically immortal. The species of jellyfish is called Tortopsis dohrnii, and they are literally incapable of dying. Scientists learned that whenever this jellyfish is injured or becomes stressed, it reverses its life cycle to its previous stage. Yeah, it's kind of like Benjamin Button style. It just reverses its age. So theoretically, this jellyfish could live forever unless it gets eaten by something else. Then again, even if it gets eaten, its bits could just float away and start their own little jellyfish colony somewhere else. They're kind of like the Hydra of the sea, like the mythological creature that regrows its heads when you chop them off. This jellyfish is like that, except it doesn't grow new jellyfish bodies, it grows an old one. Hold on tight. Number 4. Some animals survive without oxygen. You heard that right. There is a species of animal out there that lives its entire life without oxygen. It's unbelievable, but true. Back in 2010, a team of Russian and American scientists discovered a single-celled organism that lives within the tissues of salmon. This organism is Hennegia salmonicola, and it's an animal parasite that lives in fish muscle tissue. What's most fascinating about this parasite is that it has no mitochondria, which is the organelle responsible for using oxygen in the body. Scientists aren't exactly sure how this parasite survives without oxygen. After all, most living things need oxygen to live. But this little worm seems to have figured it out. This one's insane. Number 3. You can hear the difference between hot and cold water. Did you know that if you pour hot water and cold water into a glass, you can actually tell the difference between them just by listening to it? Seriously, give it a try. Pour hot water into a glass and then pour cold water into a glass and listen to the sounds they make. The hot water will actually make a higher pitched sound than the cold water will. But why does this happen? Well, it has to do with the viscosity of the water. Hot water has a lower viscosity, which means it flows faster than cold water. So when you pour it, it splashes and hits the sides of the glass differently, which changes the sound. Does anyone watching still think science is boring? Almost at the top. Number 2. Cows have best friends. This one blew my mind. I'm not gonna lie. But apparently cows have BFFs. I always thought cows were just like, farm animals. They're raised for food and they all kind of just hang out together. But I was wrong, like really wrong. It turns out that cows have close social bonds with each other, and they can get pretty freaking stressed out if they get separated. A study done by the University of Northampton took 30 cows and put them into 5 groups of 6. Then they monitored their heart rates while they were together and when they were separated. Researchers found that cows spent a lot of time standing close to their besties and their heart rate went down when they were together. They also found that if one cow was removed from the group, the remaining cows became more stressed out. Yeah, cows are like us, I guess. I wonder if dogs experience the same thing. And finally, the craziest, number 1. There's a lake that can turn animals to stone. So in Tanzania, there is a lake that is basically a portal to another planet. It's an incredibly salty and alkaline lake called Lake Natron. It is here that animals often come to die and become turned to stone. It's a real-life horror movie. Here's how it goes. Animals either fly or walk or swim into the lake and are immediately met with extremely high pH levels. This kills them almost instantly and leaves their bodies in the lake. Over time, their bodies get calcified and turn into stone. It's kind of like the Red Wedding in Game of Thrones, except it's just one animal at a time and it's a lot slower. Now, if you're wondering why the water is so salty, it's because the lake is a closed basin, meaning that it has no natural way of getting rid of water. So the water evaporates, leaving behind the salts and minerals. And because it has no way of replenishing its water, it has to rely on rain, which is scarce in the area. So yeah, Lake Natron is a pretty rough place to be alive, unless you're a bird, I guess. Birds seem to be fine. Alright guys, that is all for today's video. Thank you so much for checking it out, and as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.